Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody all over the world. We got a little fun race here between Flipio and Trinex. Don't forget to track us versus 2Pearl2Furious. Week 4, Spoiler Geek Sanity. My name's Days Cloud. I'll be one of your commentators. And I'm joined in the booth today by Will WC. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I am looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite weeks of the league season, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how these guys can unravel the puzzle of deducing the logs here and finding that route while balancing safeties, balancing the execution, and watching the runners kind of work with their teammates to pull off everything that they're being asked to do. It's just a really fun week all around.
Oh, it's definitely an interesting time. You said it there. Like there is a fine balance that you have to strike this week, where you're trying to figure out exactly what it is that you can do, should do, to make sure that you get exactly the amount of stuff you need to finish the game as quickly as possible.
Yep, so we're off and running here. Both teams choosing to start at Sanctuary, getting a sword there, and then Trinex immediately saves and quits and goes to Link's house and finds a glove in Link's house. So that's probably before his Scary Olive has even had a chance to really begin processing the log. Already two very nice items to find.
Well, definitely. I mean, that's early ability to kill things, and then you can also basically it's one piece of your Dark World access here. Looks like we're going to be headed taking very different routes here. We got Trinex going directly into the escape sequence here, and we got Flipio in blindside picking up a Quake medallion really fast. As take a quick look down at our trackers today, you can see since our tracker has all of the information there, since this is a spoiler log, we can see that Quake is going to be our entrance into Turtle Rock today.
Yep. So that's definitely going to be required, and Flip does get some bombs out of blindside early. One thing that kind of comes up in these races is that resource management gets a lot more difficult as we see the lamp and the ether. So there's both of our medallions sitting in Kakariko. But resource medallion gets much more difficult in these spoiler logs, since often you will be skipping a lot of the bombs and arrows and rupees that you would normally collect along the way. So getting these bombs early is a nice buffer for Flip Heel there.
Yeah, and this is kind of interesting. So far we've seen Pearl, Lamp, and Ether Medallion out of Kakariko already. So kind of a loaded
one
Kakariko.
Furious.
Yeah, one Pearl, one half Furious.
So I'm guessing there's something at Race Game here as well, since we're down here. Meanwhile, we're going to find out what's in Zelda Cell that was worth the trip up here early. Oh, and it's a bow. Okay. So that'll... if we find an early Eastern Big Key, that gives us access to complete that. And also, depending on when we get access to Pod, which now we are currently just a hammer away from having access there with the knowledge that we have in CAC, that could be something early on in Pod with the small key that we got out of the map chest there at Hyrule Castle as well.
Yeah, and the bow, like you mentioned there, if we do get those big keys, we can do all of that. It is going to be 100% required today, because we got Ether and Pod as crystals here. Looks like our pendants are Green Pendant Thief Town, Pendant Skull Woods, and a Pendant Tower of Hera. Those are some fairly easy pendants.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one, because that means that we're going to be requiring a lot of extra things to complete all our dungeons. Obviously, Turtle Rock, we need both rods, Samaria, at least 3 small keys, a big key. Mire, we need that medallion, we need flute and mitts and a big key there. There's not going to be a lot of the kind of items that we get to skip based just on the pendant layout that we see so far.
Right, this looks like it's going to be pretty hard work on our for our pilots here at the very beginning, at least. So we did find that first Turtle Rock key there in the back of Salsharala's hut.
Yep, and now we're seeing both runners heading into Eastern. Given the lack of bow on Fliphill's side, would be surprised to see an Eastern big key in here allowing for completion, but we'll see what is in Eastern here that's worth the early trip here in Cannonball Chest.
I'm gonna guess it's either boots or flute, right?
Well, you made a pretty good call there.
Oh, but we're gonna continue even though. So we grab the flute, and there's something else that we want as well.
So one thing that'll work out nicely here for Trinex with his routing there with Scary Olive is that he's going to get to do Kakariko one time effectively by activating that flute and collecting the pearl and the medallions and the other goodies that Fliphill has gotten there already.
You know, that's a really good point here, especially with the 2 pendant layouts here. As we also get the mitts here out of the, I guess that's the map chest here in Eastern Palace. So yeah, we're definitely going to need this. That's going to be Dark World access for 2Pearl2Furious the moment that they get into get back to Kakariko. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and depending on the route they take here, they could, just get that Moon Pearl and go directly into Dark World here, and I would not be surprised to see that happen, given the ability to dip into either Skullwoods here or, Village of Outcast, Front of Thieves Town, going south to Hype Cave. There's a lot of options that they'll have here based on their routing.
A ton, you're right. So that's going to be very curious to see exactly which one of these routes they are going to take as we're dropping into the well and kind of doing both things. So I got to ask you, I know you are a big fan of this mode, but what's your general opening for something like this? What items do you like to prioritize at the beginning? And
so the way that we've been doing it this season, with both with my team and in the spoiler pilot tourney a couple months ago, was that what we kind of settled on was starting at Link's house and having the runner farm a couple of bombs on the way to Kakariko. And the first 2 checks that I would do as the pilot are looking for the boot and the flute. And if either of those is accessible, then we'll make an audible and go get those immediately, or as immediately as possible, before going to Kakariko, to kind of get that advantage that we're seeing from 2Pearl2Furious here of getting to do the flute activation at the same time as doing the opening Kakariko checks here. So, we're seeing kind of that advantage here. Obviously, Fliphill, he's gonna be back there anyway with the mitts and going into Dark World probably through the portal in Kakariko soon anyway. But it is a nice efficiency route here of getting to save that extra walk from Sanctuary over here to Kakariko for Trinex and his team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's going to have to walk down to Race Game. I believe there was something down there that we wanted to get. I think maybe it was
that was the Ice Rod at Race Game.
Ice Rod.
So it's potentially, something that you could put off for a while here, especially if boots end up showing up, sometime early, or Mirror in particular would be kind of nice to be able to route that in.
Well, speaking of putting it off, Trinex has fluted away, and we are down south. We're going to hit. Looks like we're headed towards Mini Moldarn Cave. I mean, it makes sense. You're still going to prioritize going to the more dense locations because they tend to have the items that you need. So going to bomb this open, see what we find here. And I noticed that I don't see anybody rushing for boots yet. So
yeah, I would think, certainly if you were going to find boots or, something major here along that lines that would speed things up, that you'd see the runners prioritize it early. Kind of like they did with that flute. So we got 300 rupees from the NPC, our second pod small key and flippers, and a Skullwood small. In this mode, Skullwood small is usually not required, but it can make for more efficient routing, and since you're already in here clearing the other items, it's certainly nice to grab those small keys when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of those where you just tell your tell the runner, yeah, just grab everything. That was a very useful cave. As we get a quick look at a key on Lake Hylia Island there, Trinex did a little flipper in there to show us, and we got Flipio on the other side, just going directly into the Dark World.
Yeah, so we're continuing with our diverging routes, which is interesting to see, and so we'll find out. Looks like Flip is making a beeline for the for south of Village here. As we're going to find out what is at Hobo today. Oh, that's a hook shot. That's nice to have.
Well, that seems very important, yes. And we got the Smiths over on Flippeel's side. So, yeah, no, I'm loving this divergence here. It's making for an interesting start to this. We're going to see in like 15 minutes exactly who took the better route. Because right now I have no idea.
Looks like we're getting an Agina check over here and a Skullwood's Big Key from Flipeel, so that certainly pretends that there is something of value in the Skullwood's Big Chest that we'll be coming back for later.
You're very, very right there. I guess we'll have to see in just a minute here, because we're going to bum open this wall to Agina, and Flippeel's going to Hype Cave. There's our Fire Rod. It's sitting in Agina's cave.
Yep, so that is one thing that is, as a pilot especially, can be easy to forget about, is getting that fire source, either lamp or fire rod, for certain checks that requires it. So it's very easy to end up forgetting about that, especially when it comes to, say, left side of Mire, or some other checks, Hera Basement. We see a Thieves Big Key here in Hype Cave, another Pod Small Key, and then a couple of other small resources there, as Trinex is making his first entrance into the Dark World here as well.
Let's see if he does the exact same thing that Flipeel does, because we still got this Smith in tow, so I'm curious what he's going to give us here. Yeah, typically we're going to need, keys that we're really looking for here. I'd say typically we're kind of looking for 3 Turtle Rock keys, a handful of pod keys. It depends on how much you really need to get. And wow, that's just blue mail sitting in the dam, and Trinex decided not to get that. I'm a little surprised, because these tend to be low health runs.
Yeah, and it's tough as a pilot, especially when you have a quick access like Flute, to maybe even remember that you have, to check that when you've got your eyes on Mini Moldorm Cave, but also remembering to find the Floodgate chest and the Sunken Treasure item in the log, since they are not all conveniently next to each other. That is one difficulty of parsing this for the pilots, is that not everything is not always where you expect it to be in the logs. One other thing that's interesting here is that we see Trinex did not pick up the Smith on his way south of Village here. So, potentially if there's something important on Smith or on Purple Chest, that could be something that he's planning on routing in later when he has, say, Boots and Mirror to make those faster, or it could be an oversight at this point.
Yeah, that's a very good question here. And the other thing that we should mention is that this is the only week that the pilots are allowed to watch the other team's stream. There could be a little bit of having the other team stream in the corner here, realizing that, oh yeah, we should probably go get these items really quick. Kind of curious exactly here, because it looks like Trinex, we are headed back into his only Dark World access right now here in Kakariko, as Flipeel picks up his hook shot.
Yep. So we'll see if Flipeel goes now to return the Smith, or keeps taking him on an extended journey here around the world. It does look like we're heading back to Kakariko on his side.
And Flippeel's headed for that Smith, so our trackers today for both teams here, we've got on the Don't Forget to Track Us side, we got Purdy Wong over there piloting for Flipeel. And over on Trinex's side there, 2Pearl2Furious, we've got Scary Olive there doing piloting for that side, as we pick up another key to Turtle Rock there, and the big key to Turtle Rock on the Smiths. Yeah, the Smiths are slightly important today, bud.
They are, but again, that's not one that, necessarily, until we find a few more items, that really comes into play, kind of like that Ice Rod as well. We're still a ways away from being able to use that Turtle Rock Big Key for anything, so putting it off may not necessarily be a big deal for 2Pearl2Furious at this point, as long as they don't overlook it completely.
Oof, and looking at the health situation for 2Pearl2Furious, I bet Trinex is very glad that last bottle he picked up had a fairy in it here, because it looks like we are headed into the back of Thieves Town with with just 3 hearts maximum and green mail.
Yeah, not
Um,
not a lot of margin for error here with Fighter Sword. You've got the hook shot, which is kind of nice, but other than that, you're pretty much on your own. Other than that fairy that we just got there from the compass chest. So going to be a nervous hellway here for Trinex, but he's handling it very deftly there.
yeah, it's just slid right around all of those little jellyfish guys and the fire snake and everything else that makes that hellway just the most thing in the world to take care of.
Yep, and we're seeing Flip Hill here, going through the same route here in the front of Thieves Town, getting that ferry as well.
Now,
Trinex is heading to the back here.
yeah, Trinex is still with that green mail. He's still on 1-hit KO, so he's got to be careful.
Yep. Yeah. So and one thing to keep in mind here is that this is a pendant dungeon, so we don't know yet. Oh, there's our first heart container in this dude. I'm sure that's a sight for sore eyes right now. But we don't know if there's necessarily an item on blind here, or if there's even the potential of this being something required on pedestal. But we do know that both runners here were directed by their pilots to go get that thieves key, that thieves big key out of Hype Cave and get back here pretty quickly.
I also kind of had that thought when I saw these pendant layouts here, that this is a very easy sort of possible green pendant turn in or possible pedestal seed here, because I mean, it's kind of funny we're saying this. We're 15 minutes into this race and we already have access to the pedestal.
That is a very, very true point here. And those arrows, those arrows in blind cell were not why we came in here. So there is something on blind, or potentially something on pedestal here. We will at least get a piece of that information here from Trinex as he's heading upstairs with the maiden, and find out exactly what we came here for.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting really quickly. I'm sitting here with a smile on my face, because if we're having to do green pendant blind to grab an item here, we've got some kind of seed.
Yeah, especially if you're prioritizing it as the first dungeon that you're going into, really, other than the Eastern dip.
Boy, this is
a little off script
time
here. So do have that fairy though on Trinex's side, so it's not. Get a nice save there on phase 3 of Blind Fight for $20. So
what's your call here, Will? Are you going to say green pendant turn in, or are we going to say pedestal? Which one are we going for here?
I would not be surprised, given the fact that both runners have already been to the back of Sahasrara, and that the pilots would have seen the Sahasrara item right there in the spoiler log. Would not be surprised if that was the motivating factor to go get something off of the green pendant.
It kind of seems that way. I think you're right, because if this was pedestal, you'd almost think Trinex might decide to take a little jaunt up to Skull Woods and go ahead and knock that out. But I mean,
right.
we are.
I feel like if this were a play for pedestal, you would wait until you had we can't guarantee that boots will show up, but you can certainly guarantee that you have more than 3 hearts for completing Thieves Town, or more than Fighter Sword. So my thinking is Sahasrara is probably the payoff of this play here.
Probably, and yeah, this is some smart routing with on Trinex's side here. You can go ahead and take the Smiths into Thieves Town, but the trick with that is you have to drop down one of the holes to do so. As Trinex demonstrates real quick there, Pike goes ahead, drops down, and finds the Cane of Samaria in the pinball room, followed by the hammer right next door.
Yep, and we're going to find out what's in that big chest that we went to Stumpy to see as well. And it is a Swamp Small Key, so that certainly is required.
This is a bit of a loaded dungeon right there. Wow, that's 3 very required items to get through there.
Never count out a pendant Skull Woods for sure. We did also see Trinex pick up the Smiths here, so he is going to get that. Go and turn him in as well, and get that Turtle Rock Big Key on his side as well. So now we'll see what direction FlipHeel chooses to go with his hammer.
Yeah, that's the question with the items that he's got right now. It looks like we're headed down to the. He's gonna go pick up his fire rod. He hasn't been down into that area yet, so
Right.
yeah, he's gonna go grab this from Agina. We've got Trinex picking up the Turtle Rock big key, so everything's pretty much good there.
It looks like Trinex may be making his way down here to get that ice rod now at this time as well, because I don't think there's really anything else to come to this area for in the Lake World. So, gonna get some new checks here at some point. I think Flip's gonna be the first one to show us where we're going next with all these goodies we've amassed.
Yeah, I'm thinking we might be headed to Turtle Rock at some point here. You're gonna kind of. I'm looking at this. If he's going down to pick up his ice rod, we have the ability to clear Turtle Rock with our items, but we don't have the keys yet. So
right,
we
are only at this point one small key away, assuming that we can skip the big key chest from being able to do everything in Turtle Rock. So. It is very possible that we are heading there to do that right now.
I mean, that would be kind of makes sense here. We're seeing FlipHeel make a beeline for the Paradox entrance right now. See if he takes a right. Looks like he does. So we're going to pick up some things here out of the 7 checks here in Paradox Cave. Or not.
And
or we're going to go get bombs.
Trinex does some good boulder dodging there to make his way. See what's up here in Spectral Rock Cave that he is diverting for.
It's me kind of wondering exactly when are these boots going to show up.
Oh, half magic. That's certainly as a runner, especially when you were heading into a potentially heading into Turtle Rock with Fighter Sword. You certainly don't mind seeing that half magic show up.
Yeah, and looking over here, well, we found our 3rd Turtle Rock key. We've also found a 4th pod key and our first key to GT. I'm kind of surprised that Trinex is walking out of Spectacle Rock there. But then I remembered he hasn't saved the old man, so that's not an option for him. He can't just save and quit right now. Now he's going to be dodging boulders.
With his health, with the fact that they did not pick up the blue mail out of the dam, he could not do the bomb jump there out of Spec Rock the quicker way as well, without consuming the ferry at least.
Excuse me, Will? Do you see what FlipHeel's doing?
I do. We're heading into Pendant Era.
Pendant Era. So we've already got Pendant. We've got ourselves a Pendant Thieves Town clear. We're heading into Hera. How far are we going?
Looks like exactly that far. Yeah.
Okay. That was all right. That was really quick, really easy.
Well, FlipHeel still not picking up that half magic out of Spec Rock Cave. So whether or not that's something that is a conscious decision on PRD Wong's part there to direct him, to give him that option and direct him away from it, or whether he maybe just hasn't seen it. We don't know, but it looks like we are going to at least open up Turtle Rock at this point on FlipHeel's side.
I mean, I got to imagine right now that we're going to finish it. I mean, full disclosure, I do not look at the spoiler log for these, even though kind of do have access to it if we wanted. But I got to imagine you're coming up here with 3 keys and the ability to finish it. I mean, it's not fun. You've only got 5 hearts, and you're guaranteed doing almost guaranteed to do a hammer Trinex here. But when's going to be a better time?
I was gonna say, I mean, yeah, unless we're unless there's something in the big key chest worth getting, there's you're full clearing it here, or clearing it as much as you need to at least. So not the comfiest of clears, but sometimes you don't get that option in these spoiler log races.
Especially if the big key to Eastern Palace is sitting here in the very first chest, and that's all we're gonna get. Oh God, is there something? Is there something in the lava chest?
You'd certainly think so with that play.
I mean, shout outs to yesterday, watching, I forgot what race it was that had the Swamp Palace Small in the lava chest there, which forced teams to have to go get every Turtle Rock key, which, that got fun.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to go over here to Checkerboard Cave first. So find out what's here, and we'll see if Trinex does the same routing of just coming up here for that eastern big key, or if he chooses to go any deeper here into Turtle Rock at this point. Oh, so boots were over here at boots were over here. That's a certainly an understandable play to come up here and grab those after getting that mirror out of Hera.
Oh yeah, especially if it turns out that there's nothing actually deeper in Turtle Rock. You probably want the boots just to be able to go through the rest of the game faster right there. But yeah, I'm being told that the race that I'm remembering was between two teams yesterday, actually. So yeah, thanks to Ikir there in chat there reminding me that what match I was watching. To be honest, I've watched so many of these days. This is week 4. This is spoiler key sanity. With we have pilots directing our runners all over Hyrule right now, knowing exactly where they need to go, and that's one reason why you see so many items collected and so.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a similar play from 2Pearl2Furious' side here, where they got that eastern big key and decided to bolt. So it certainly does feel like there is going to be something important there in that big key chest, like we talked about. Flipheel has taken his boots and made his way to Swamp. It looks like there was a little bit of kind of indecision there after sitting on the flute screen for a little bit and kind of figuring out where, with his pilot PRD on exactly where they were going. But it looks like Swamp, which of course they can full clear minus the big chest here, is the play, and certainly a reasonable option, especially with a Master Sword sitting there in the first chest.
Yeah, no, we now have the ability to go ahead and defeat Ganon now. You kind of imagine that both of these guys are going to, at some point, want to get at least Temper Sword or Silvers if it's even remotely possible.
Yeah.
But we don't know where those are at the moment here, and like I said, we're purposely avoiding the spoiler log because I like to be surprised just as much as everybody else does.
Yep, and we're seeing, it looks like Trinex is making the same play here following Flipheel here into Swamp, so he's going to get his Master Sword as well, and we'll see what else Swamp Palace holds for us here.
So what are we thinking? 2 swords in Swamp? 3 swords? What are you thinking? Swords and silvers?
I mean, let's not get greedy. We always know there's a sword. It's just required. And we've already got one out of the first chest. It does seem a little, this is a spoiler log race. We got to make these guys work for a little bit. They can't just have tempered here at 27 minutes before we even get a first crystal.
Okay, I mean, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, they've got 5 hearts. Now, I will say, nifty little piece of routing over on 2Pearl2Furious' side. Now, not getting that blue mail there early, not making that early stop for it. I mean, it did kind of mean that Trinex had a bit of an tougher fight through like the first half an hour of this seed, but then when he got to come into Swamp, he could just open it up in the first place, not make the second trip though. So I guess a slight routing efficiency for their side.
Right, and that is one thing that this allows you to do is if your pilot is capable of kind of thinking on the fly and thinking creatively, as apparently Scary Olive is here. You can make little combinations of plays that you ordinarily never would in a seed where you were playing it blind. And in most cases, especially when you have an early flute, you wouldn't wait until you were coming to Swamp Palace with the mirror to check the dam. You would do that early, especially if you're going to Mini Moldarm Cave. But with that knowledge of, well, we can just get this later when we're going to be coming through here anyway, shave off a few seconds, and those time saves add up, especially in a very in a race format that potentially has very low margins of error.
Yeah, I kind of expect both of these runners to be climbing GT at pretty much the same time here, unless something goes horribly wrong on one of the sides here. Nothing went wrong with that fight there, and I was right, sir. There was a second sword in Swamp.
So we know there are at least 2 swords in Swamp. We may never find out if the third sword is on the left side. We may never see it, but we're correct.
Now you're making me want to go and check the spoiler log, but now you want me making me want to do that.
Well,
But
we've got the post-race interviews for that.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll ask him then. But yeah, Tempered Sword. Yeah, all of a sudden fighting Trinex, fighting a lot of these other bosses that you would maybe want to put off. It doesn't become so much of an issue now.
Yeah, you definitely have a much comfier set of equipment here.
Ooh, Flipio took some hits there to those angry cabbage mouth monsters that have a name, but it escapes me at the moment. So I'm going with a vague description.
I'm sure they do have a name, but the evil Venus flytrap jerks is perfectly fine with me.
Jerks is a good one.
Yeah. So of note here, we are passing up. Where are we going? Maybe we are not passing up the. Oh no! Well, there goes Flip's ferry here. I was going to comment that we have passed up the chance to mirror there for Sahasrara, but it looks like we are going back for that on Flip's side here, as we get the special text box from Kiki the monkey.
Okay, so today I learned that if you die, Kiki, and get a fairy, and you have a fairy, then everything's okay. Yeah, no, that's important before you go into a pod right there. Yeah, you want the big key to pod.
I do think that is worth going back for, especially when your next destination is pod. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And now, Kiki, we will play by Kiki's rule and take the monkey all the way to the entrance here. As we see where Trinex's next move is. Looks like maybe a misflute to 1. Now we are heading over to 5 and probably heading into Pod Eastern as well here.
Right, and it looks like we've got 4 keys here, so if we need anything out of the back of Pod, we have very easy access to get it.
Yeah, with a combination of hammer jumping, which I know both of these runners are completely capable of, and the routing here, I think you can pretty safely be certain that they're going to get everything they need out of here with 4 small keys and the big key. And it does look like we are setting up that hammer jump here. Well, I walked off the ledge there, and I'm not sure if that was intentional. Yeah.
Yeah, that just kind of happens where every once in a while you get it right, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you take a step too far to the left. Okay, he's not got this right now, actually. I don't think that is set up correctly, but he's trying to, I think he's trying to manage to change himself like 1 pixel. Yeah, he was still not quite there.
Yeah.
There's a visual cue you can use.
Yeah. And for me, this is one that I do that is sprite dependent, so I cannot, I do not know the piranha plant's dimensions well enough to know, but we are going to get a desert big key. We require that out of the big chest here, and then we're going to mirror and come back through. I presume we're heading straight to... oh, no, we are not heading straight to Helmassar at this point. We're going to drop down here into the big key chest.
Yeah, it looks like Flipio is going to the big key chest as Trinex dropped into the Stalfos basement there, grabbed the big key to Meyer, and there's powder on top. Okay, I can understand coming back for the powder there, because you can chain the powder into the big key to Meyer that you didn't pick up.
Okay, well, this is looks like we're going to right side here on Fliphill side. Hopefully they catch that error with the Meyer big key there, because that is obviously going to be required on this seed. But it looks like we're going to see something here from the map chest or the arena ledge chest. this side. As Trinex gets his desert big key as well out of the big chest.
So yeah, a ton of stuff here in pod as well, it looks like. As we grab the blue cane on this side.
And we did not see Trinex go to the right side there, so yeah, Flip getting a couple of safeties here. We really hope that PRD caught that the Meyer big key was not obtained. It can be very tough, especially as both the tracker and the runner here. For the runner, you're absorbing a lot of information while also trying to play the game. And given that you've just taken, you lost your ferry on the overworld, you had a little bit of a detour there with remembering to get Saha, you may be a little bit shaken on that front there, and maybe have missed some information. And as the pilot, it's very easy to kind of, get caught looking at the log and not really, focusing as much on watching the runner streams and seeing, double checking to make sure that he's getting everything that you are directing him towards. So hopefully they catch that before we leave the pod area for good here.
Yep. That's the key with this thing. Communication is such an important part of it. Like,
it is the most important part of this. Above execution, above all else, really just, you can win or lose races simply just based on your communication here. And for anyone who's not familiar, both of these runners are in a voice chat with their pilots. But they are not allowed to view the log themselves or do any kind of, they're allowed to see other streams, but they're not allowed to actually see the log themselves. It all has to be verbal communication, and I believe there's also some rules about spreadsheets. I don't know. I'm not a rules lawyer. I do all the verbal stuff. We see both runners having successful Helmasaur fights, getting their 5th hearts, or in Flipheel's case, his 6th heart, excuse me, from the heart container there, and getting 2nd crystal for each as well.
So looking through things real fast, oh no, Flipheel did not pick up the Misery Mire big key.
Yeah.
And things looks like they might have remembered. Yeah. Okay, that's a oh, I gotta go get that, don't I? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so we're still, so it looks like probably the lead has shifted, because if I'm looking over what we need, I'm pretty sure we are actually in go mode at the moment.
I think we still need a GT big key, but...
Oh my god, yes, the most important big key. You're right.
But yeah, other than that, we are, we do have everything else to complete the seed at this point. So we'll see what we get here. Both runners dropping into Eastern. Obviously, we have the big key here. We'll see what, if anything, they find in here, or if this is just a crystal clear. After having already gotten the mitts and the flute out of here earlier in the seed.
Yeah, this has been an interesting one so far. The dungeons have had a surprising amount of the items today. Like Skull Woods having Hammer, Hammer, Samaria, and the Swamp Small in there. Two swords and Swamp Palace. Like you mentioned, the mitts and what was the other one in here? The flute
was in here, yeah. There's certainly been a heavy emphasis. We got the mirror out of Hera. We've had a lot of our, especially the items themselves, kind of coming from dungeon checks here, and just a few things really on the overworld, especially outside of Kakariko.
Yeah, this is at this point we're into the sprint sort of thing. I imagine that the GT big key is going to be somewhere on the way, because we're not. I haven't seen any sort of out of the way routes to go get it yet. It could just be in GT, which would.
That is definitely a thing that can happen as well. Is that it could just be chilling in GT itself, and it's going to be a fun GT big key guessing game if that's the case, because, spoiler, guess a low number.
That, and we only have one GT key at the moment. So
that is true. So yeah, it may or may not be terribly deep in there as well.
Does seem that way. So we got both runners now finished off Eastern Palace, and we've got Trinex now fluting over to 6. He's in the Mire area here. He's got to finish off Mire and finish off Desert in the next couple of seconds.
Yep, and I think, there's certainly, we made, an allusion to it earlier that the runners were leaving behind Turtle Rock because they wanted, to get a 4th Turtle Rock small key. I think at this point it may just well be that they wanted to have boots and, tempered sword and a non-negligible amount of health versus a, basically super low % fighter sword TR clear. Especially if you can route that in going directly to GT, which it looks like is highly probable at this point.
Yeah, it does look like our pilots have set up the runners for success here, because you bring up a really good point. You've got a choice between clearing Trinex with 6 hearts and tempered sword, or you could do it with like 5 hearts and a hammer. I mean, exactly. One of those is easier than the other.
Yeah, and especially if you're going directly from TR to GTB, then that's going to be, you're not giving away time by coming back and doing that later.
Oh, totally. And looks like we're not even stopping for a single thing here in Misery Mire. We are just barreling right to the back. We're gonna turn this into an execution race here as quickly as possible. It's like between these two runners.
Yeah.
And I know both of them are highly practiced NMG runners these days. So this could be a lot of fun if you're a big fan of execution. This could be a real good. I would
say both. I think are in the 127-ish range with their NMG times, and both of them have had, I want to say, relatively recent PBs in the past couple of months as well. So, yeah, definitely both highly capable runners when it comes to, if it comes down to an execution battle.
Yeah, this will be a ton of fun here. Low % execution stuff here. This is going to be a bit of a tight fight here for Trinex, because he's only got blue mail. So he's got to be a little careful not to hug one of those eyes there. And he takes him, clears all the eyes here. Now he can just pump arrows into Vitreous. Now, Flipeel taking a little bit of extra time to pick up the blue cane there. That might actually, he could, if he wanted to, he could just throw the blue cane on and dash through these.
Flip doesn't have time for that.
Wow.
He's got to get his
he might need to watch
cycle.
His arrows. Ooh, man.
He's got to get his zero cycle mini fight in as well. So, well managed there.
Very good. Yeah, 1 arrow left on Flipeel's side, 4 arrows left on Trinex's side. This is when you're glad to go to Desert Palace, because there's arrows in Desert Palace you can pick up.
Yeah, and depending on whether we find silver arrows, it may be this could be a situation where you just don't even need arrows for anything beyond the Mimics 1 and 2 rooms in GT. So certainly some opportunities here for that to play an issue, though, especially if we end up having to go to Ice Armos in GT for some reason for like a big key. That arrow count and that resource management could come back into play here in a big way.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm gonna give a quick shout out there to Flipeel there, showing that you can actually run up the left side of kind of that Mire platform.
Yeah, I had never seen that before, and I'm definitely stealing that one for sure.
100%. I was like, ooh, that's going to be something I'm taking for cross keys and other stuff, I think.
Yeah. So we're seeing both runners here, basically just a room apart at this point, going into their respective Landmo fights. Nice clean fight there from Trinex.
Good zero cycle there on that. We're gonna get a small key to Who Cares Ice Palace, but that'll help with routing a bit.
Yeah. And an identical fight on Flipeel's side, so very nice job from both of them there.
Yeah, these guys are neck and neck right now, and it's kind of curious. Like, the difference between these two runners right now is Flipeel is sitting with 2 bottles. And Trinex is sitting with half magic. Yeah. Flipeel does have powder as well, so
And one thing that is, I think, worth noting is that Trinex does still have his fairy in the bottle. I believe that
That's right.
FlipHeel used his on the pod overworld.
Yeah, no, you are right there. So yeah, Trinex has a little bit more of a cushion right now. You know, he can make a big mistake at once without it burning him too badly. FlipHeel's a little bit more tight-ropey right now.
Right. Yeah, FlipHeel, you know, he's got an extra bottle, but I believe it's just a B in that one, so it's not something that is, you know, really. I know you are, of all people that I know, are probably the biggest proponent of the B strats, especially when it comes to GT, but probably not likely to have a big shift in this race based off of that.
No, yeah, look, I do love my bees in the gauntlet. I do, but at the same time, it is not necessarily the fastest strats in the world. They are fun.
A
And I
very
see
clean
clear map.
icebreaker there from Trinext. So make his way through the right side of Ice Palace here. We'll see if he even bothers getting that small key. Nope. We got that small key from Landmo, and we're heading on our way straight through here.
Yeah, we're not stopping for anything. That small key does make it real easy to go through.
Yeah, so at this point, it certainly feels like we're led to believe that the that GT big key is either going to be on the way, kind of deeper in Turtle Rock, or sitting in GT itself, unless we see something from these runners that leads us in a different direction here. We'll get to see another kind of tough boss fight here, although, again, with this being effectively an NMG loadout, both runners should be plenty capable of handling it. Couple ice blocks hits there as it gets a little bit away from Trinex with the sword beams that I would imagine you are not used to having in NMG. And a very clean kill from FlipHeel to make up a little bit of that time here. So we're going to have just maybe about, 5 seconds apart here on the crystal grabs.
I mean, this is getting really exciting here towards the end here. Both runners are just they are neck and neck here. This is really great. I'm enjoying this greatly here. So I'm just kind of sitting here watching it and kind of trying to remind myself that, oh yeah, I need to talk as well, right?
I know this is one of those where you can kind of just shut up and, like, you know, let the play speak for itself. There's really not a lot, you know, to narrate here because, you know, this is very, very strong execution from both runners, and I think, you know, at this point, unless they've requested not to know from their pilots, you know, the pilots, at the very least, know exactly where everyone stands right now and know how close this is. So, yeah, this is quite a race, and we're going to see a small divergence here. Get to time out the differences between climbing up through Super Bunny Cave or through the shop that I've never been in before.
Yeah, that's going to lose a little time. But yeah, no, Trinex not getting dead rocked here, kind of, that is the faster way to go. I do remember hearing that if you don't get dead rocked, the faster way to go is through the light world.
Yeah, and it does feel like that, even with the small routing error there, that it does feel like that was the faster way to get up here, with both runners having already opened up Turtle Rock. So we'll see if there's anything here in TR that we grab on the way, or we are just beelining through here and getting into GT to try and find that big key.
Yeah, well, we are going to start working back here. Look at the chain chomp room. Are we just going to dash through? Well, we were, except the chomps decided to get in the way.
I know, it's hard to believe that the chomps could be rude and get in the way there, but Trinex definitely navigating their obstacles there.
Oh, thanks to Ike here there in chat there timing out that Flip-Heel is 28 seconds behind at the moment.
Right,
So
and that's that's a pretty big margin when you consider that it was a 4-second gap after the Cold Stare fight, and a little bit of muscle memory there for Flip-Heel is going to cost a couple more seconds as he kind of goes through the process of getting the chest to appear in the Chain Chomp's room. That is another thing that is definitely real on the runner side, is that you have to kind of fight those urges to open all the chests that you are used to opening in every other mode where you're playing this game blind. You have to remember that you were on a mission from your pilot and from God here. On just they will tell you what to open and anything that they don't tell you, just feel free to skip it.
Yep. We gotta get going as quickly as possible here, because as you can see, Trinex is not stopping for a single thing. He went through Crystal Roller Room, didn't even look at the chest, just dashed right up there. I can't imagine if you have silvers on Laser Bridge, I could see maybe going for it.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be worth it, given the time that it would save on your Ganon fight, and say on Land Mode 2 going through GT. But beyond that, no, we're not seeing Laser Bridge today. We're not seeing anything.
Oh, no, I guess at this point we do get to play the GT Big Key guessing game. is that what it is? Is we get a big key to Ice Palace there as Flip-Heel continues to pick up a couple of things.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. I think like I said earlier, that it's just kind of a muscle memory thing. Love to see that hookshot strat there, though, in the Dark Maze room.
That was
see if
pretty.
Trinex can battle his namesake here.
Trinex on Trinex action over here.
Too hot for TV.
Too hot for TV. You had to put the ice on the floor there just to keep it cool for everyone. As we are down for the top side. And he's killed him. He's killed him.
Yes, so Trinex has now is about to collect his 7th crystal as Flip-Heel is going to enter his battle with Trinex. There's our 5th pod small key. Good heavens.
Oh, Rick's gonna kill us. As Flip-Heel gets almost got a 0 cycle there out of it. There got one little head extension, but now we're gonna get the double spin. Seeing Trinex activating the hook speed to dash away a little bit cleaner from Flip-Heel on the bosses so far, I'd say.
Yeah, he was able to get the swap in to the fire rod there, didn't have to wait for the explosion to finish up, and then had a little bit cleaner on phase 2 as well. So made up a little bit of that time that he had kind of siphoned away going into TR there. But we are going into GT at this point, and I certainly hope that we're planning on finding a big key in here, or this is going to be quite a surprise for our 2 runners.
Yeah, well, here we go. We've got 1 GT key, and we're going to Hope Room. Are we going to go to Hope Room, or are we going to Tile Room? Or are we going to go even further? Are we going to go to full Compass Room and then have to dig it out of right side? Are we stopping, or are we going? We're going. Okay, so it's going to be in Compass Room, it looks like.
Yeah, it does look like that's going to be the case here.
Now, I suppose it could also be behind Ice Armos at this point, at which case they'll have to come back and get the key from the left side there.
Right.
But
both runners entering with one small key allows them the kind of ability to navigate through most of the tower here without having to do extra dips. Trinex taking a lot of damage there from the Gibdos in that room, though. So there is our GT big key. So if you guessed 1, good job. You got it right. But no one put any numbers in, so you all lose.
Sorry, everybody. All right, so we've got Trinex on the climb here. He's going to be entering the very first room of the climb at about 53. We'll just call it 53:30. Make it easy. That was close. He almost got himself locked in those things there, which would have been just a bit of a time loss. This room, I hate doing that room the intended way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anytime you're coming in here on 6 hearts, which is low even by spoiler log seed standards, 6 hearts is a low GT loadout here. So this is not a comfy, and Flip runs into similar issues here. Oh, and he was trying to get the powder on the anti-fairy there, but it escaped him, and now he is. Oh no. Oh, this room is awful the intended way. Looks like he is gonna wait here, get the. Oh gosh. Oh, we're gonna. Nope, we're just going.
Okay, yeah, time to just go. Time to just go there.
Yeah, we were trying to fake powder after he had picked up a magic there and had gotten a little bit back, and so. Yeah.
That's one of those where you could have just powdered, but like you weren't intending, you weren't really thinking about that. The
Right.
other thing
You've got your pilot in there potentially telling you exactly what room your opponent's in at this point, and you're sitting here on 6 hearts, just trying to get through here.
if he can get to the refill room, life it will be okay there. God, some of those spikes were close though. Ooh.
Yeah, this is definitely a butt clench sort of climb here for both of our runners. We are going to see the safety room here for Flip. I think that is definitely the right call in this situation, as Trinex has already made his way up to the Landmo 2 fight here.
Right, Trinex just blasted through that gauntlet without any problem there. So he's going to pick up a couple of extra things. Still has his fairy, so he's in fairly good states here as he's going up into Wizrobe's run as Flip Heel is into his gauntlet. Yeah, trying to decide which one would you rather be. Would you rather be half magic here, or going through with the like powder?
I think if you're looking at what the two runners have, I think half magic plus that fairy is definitely the preferred combination here versus just the powder. But yeah. The neither runner is living a life of luxury, to be completely clear.
Yeah, no, you're very much right there. As we're up here and we're gonna have to kill one of these mini Helmosaurs to get that. We're gonna get a heart container from the top right chest here and ignore the left one.
Yeah, very charitable there from Scary Olive to let Trinex have his 4th heart container concede.
I mean, if you're going to go kill Ganon, you do want 7 hearts because no reason, really.
Hey, if you go in on full health, which, Trinex is not going to, that gives you 1 hit, or 1 Ganon hug on Blue Mail, right? So...
Sounds right, yeah.
Yep. And well, that's forget what I said about the 6 heart Ganon hugs, because we just got red mail there out of the post-mortem chest.
Oh, this is easy mode for these guys now, right? 7 hearts, red mail, they're fine.
No, this couldn't have been any easier.
And I think this is a case where I think our Flip Heel's pilot there might have told him, hey, by the way, you're a little bit behind. You don't have time to pick up that additional heart, because he did not stop to get that.
Yeah, and one thing that the pilots can do here is they are not helpless even as their runner is climbing GT. They can be sitting here watching their opponent stream, and in PRD's case, can be giving Flip Heel that information as he goes into the Aga 2 fight on where where to line up, what to expect from those Aga 2 patterns, as Trinex handles it very nicely there in a 3-cycle fight with Aga 2.
Yeah, very nice fights from Trinex there when he was climbing through GT, and now he is going to go into fight Ganon. We are doing this silverless today, so we're going to be doing quite a few spins in Phase 4. We're going to have to get 12 sword spins on Phase 4, and coming up before that... Ooh, wow, is that... I didn't actually notice the pattern there at first. These are not terrible patterns.
Not at all. That, if not for the double hit there, that would have been a 3-3 2-cycle there for Flip Heel. As we see Trinex moving on to Phase 2 here, doing his NMG Ganon battle. which he is
And
quite familiar with.
yeah, that was a pretty 1-1 for Trinix there. And we're already into phase 3 here. Getting his lamp ready, gonna be going for torch glitch here because you definitely want torch glitch, especially in this scenario. If you don't hit torch glitch here, you might be opening up a way for Flip Heel to jump back into this and take the race. As this last part of phase 3 is just Ganon not wanting to stay still. Arrows were in Light World. Okay.
Yep, well, and we do see a successful torch glitch there as Flip Heel is now on to his phase 2 here, trying to get his 1-1 as well. Looks like he has gotten that successfully. We'll see if Trinix can get through phase 4 cleanly here. Oh no, and Flip Heel has taken a death there, trying to get over to, trying to get into phase 3. So now Trinix has a little bit more breathing room at this point to add on to his lead, as he is having a very clean phase 4 thus far.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a thing yet. These are triples each time. I think he's got babies. Should be finishing up here on just like maybe even the next cycle here. Yeah, I think we'll get one more and that'll do it.
Yeah, I believe so.
That is it for Trinix there as he takes down Ganon on a very, very excellent run from 2Pearl2Furious there, as they are going to take first place in this race. And I've unfortunately closed the race time room.
1 hour, 21 seconds for Trinix. Get your GGs in chat for Trinix. And for Scary Olive as well. 2Pearl2Furious doing a great job tonight, getting their 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, that's going to tie up both of these teams here with 9 points apiece. As hopefully we'll be able to hear from them in just a minute, and get to their thoughts on the madness that we just missed. Looks like Flip Heel's almost done with his seed as well. Maybe we'll just wait for everybody to come in at the same time here.
Yeah, I think that is a good plan here.
The Skull Woods division that both of these two teams are in is an absolute beast. I mean, that's true. That's true for pretty much all of these divisions. But yeah, it's
even for even knowing the caliber of runners that are just generally in the Invitational League this season, that division is certainly a spooky one. Should be just another hit or two away here on Flip Heel's side, waiting for him to come back down. Looks like we are joined in the chat by Scary Olive and Trinix as we have Flip Heel finishing up here. So get your GGs in chat for Flip Heel and for PRD Wong. Don't forget to track us as well.
GGs to Flip Heel and PRD. This one was a fun seed.
Yeah, this was certainly, this was certainly a very fun seed to watch. The race, especially kind of once you guys, synced up together at Pod, you were pretty much, in lockstep jockeying back and forth with each other, pretty much the whole rest of the way from there.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it was a fantastic seed to watch, and hopefully we can get Flip and PRD in here as well. GG, Scary Olive as well, who's in here. Well done on the piloting there.
Thank you. I think it's my finest work ever on piloting.
I mean, for someone who says you hate piloting, you actually are 50-50 in terms of your overall record. So you got me 2 wins and Awase 1 over the.
It really shows it's a thing of communication. Like when I do a seed with Trinix, everybody's calm, it's all smooth. It's a smooth ride. With Awase, it's like hectic. we're screaming at each other. So I guess there's that.
I can say from my past co-op experiences with Trinix during the co-op tournament last year that he does have a very nice calming effect.
Yes.
When things are looking like they're going a little bit off the rails. So, yeah, well done. Let's see. Alright.
Like, to the contrary of Awase, Trinix, when I tell him go do Skull Woods, he says no, it's a pendant. Awase, you just go and do it.
And,
Yeah, but you guys cleared that out pretty well there, without any problems. Was there any point that you kind of felt like you had made any sort of like routing errors or mistakes, something that you were a little concerned about having to come back for?
So early on, I think we were talking about the half magic, and as I was getting it from Spec Rock Cave and walking out, this felt like a literally eternity. And I was kind of regretting that my entire time of like accepting that as a safety, until I realized that Ganon's tower was compass side. Then having that half magic to just spam your fire rod was amazing.
yeah, that was one where we're kind of, it's a nice to have, but we thought at that point to us, it looked like we were maybe going deeper into Turtle Rock early at that point on our first trip up to the mountain there. Both of you ended up just getting that Eastern Palace big key and leaving.
Yeah, it was we were discussing it heavily, like, do we go all the way or not? As we were going towards it, I was in the opinion it's better to go get the boots faster and come back with the sword. And he was like, well, I'm in here, but then he decided, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you both did pretty much the same thing there. And that was something we were kind of debating, whether or not that was your decision was to come back later with better equipment, or if there was something in the if we're going to have a repeat of yesterday with your two teams and having something in lava chest again.
It was a small key of Turtle Rock in the lava chest.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, you love to see it.
Well, that was fantastic. It looks like Flip Heel is in the room here, but he might be doing something. Yeah, okay, I see you there, Flip Heel. GG's there, bud.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
GG's Flip. This is good. This was a fun seat I've heard. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of curious, especially for Flip and Trinex here. Were you getting updates from your pilots on where your opponents were, or were you more of the mindset of, I know it's close, just shut up and let me focus and do my thing?
I refused updates until after I completed Desert. Just to know how risky I wanted to be in like Ice Palace or TR at that point, but
I see.
Yeah, I don't know. He was kind of giving me updates. So he made it sound like I was slightly ahead right before I went to pod, and it just like all fell apart from there. Like I took damage for some reason. I got bodied on that first screen. I took 4 hearts of damage as he was like trying to explain me pod, and then I don't know. I didn't realize he was like. He told me like everything that was in there, but like it was just so confusing at the time. I guess because I was worried about my health, and then missing Saha's closet, and then yeah, I didn't realize I needed to not do Bowlock side and the big chest, the big key chest, and I wasted so much time, and then I don't know. I couldn't really recover. Well,
yeah, no, I can understand where you're coming from there. It does feel like pod was kind of, where a couple of unforced errors happened there, both with the Saha play, and with the Meyer big key down in the Stalfos basement, the kind of unnecessary right side play. Those all kind of added up a little bit. So kind of each one sort of clawed it back, but we could kind of we kind of hypothesized on it, since obviously we don't hear the voice streams here, but kind of hypothesized on just that information overload that you kind of run into as a runner, and how that can affect actual execution. It does sound like that from what you're saying. That's kind of what happened there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, at some point, it's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard to manage all of that while you're running through on 6 hearts and a seed that, even by kind of spoiler log standards, was pretty light on the safeties and the friendly items there. But hell of a job recovering. Made up time. You were, I think, just a couple of seconds behind on the crystal graph when it came to when we were exiting Ice Palace and getting ready to go up the mountain there for the last time. So it was, at that point, it was very much anybody's race. And I know both of you guys are quite familiar with the NMG. So it was kind of fun getting to see you guys play what was effectively an NMG seed there at the end with the item loadouts that you had. Did that NMG experience was that in the back of your mind at all, kind of for either of you guys?
I
as you were
proceeded
going
to
through?
keep doing the NMG strats for chests I didn't need, so that was fun.
So I was trying to remember how to do the neutral heart strat in the pre-mimics room there, and I just completely didn't do it. So I just did the slowest way possible. But it's like just trying to think of the correct strat when you're in low health, and it just was not coming out. But after that, it wasn't too bad.
Oh my god, I botched up that room so bad. I ran out of magic, so I was going to fake powder, but then I forgot I picked up a pot that had magic in it. So the Samaria threw out a block. I took another heart of damage. And then I had to take the spike room like the most embarrassing way I've ever seen. So I knew I was done at that point.
Yeah, that was.
You got bodied there in that one spike room, just doing it with no help, no health, and having to kind of get like your perfect pixel alignment to walk across those switches. It's just I hate that room with a passion, and both of you guys had some issues there.
No, like I said, I mentioned before that we grabbed the half magic because we were debating doing Turtle Rock the first time, but then we didn't, so we just kind of walked out. It was just a slow grab, and I was kind of regretted having it, but that GT climb, it was just nice to have. So
Yeah, definitely that, and plus still having the ferry at that point for your GT climb gave you, I think, a lot more breadth to just play aggressively in GT, whereas I think Fliphill knew that he had to be as conservative as kind of possible to manage health and resources and everything going up that climb. So I do think that at the end of the seed there, that was a big factor in how that kind of shook out in GT.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I used my ferry on the way back from pod going to Sahashala's closet with my one heart.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's like where it all like snowballed. That room before into that, it was so hard to recover from that.
I like almost lost the ferry like 3 times. Just had the blind script go off a bit, and then Argus was not the best fight, but managed to keep it till the end. So,
and that's kind of one of the big differences, yeah, for sure. But well, you guys got through week 4. Week 4 is over for both of you guys. You guys got to split out of it. And next week is our cross keys week. There, 2Pearl2Furious. There, you guys have got tile roomies coming there, and don't forget to track us. You guys are facing Bomb Squad. Either of you guys care to share any sort of idea of who's going next week, or predictions, or any of that fun?
Yeah, I am so sad. My teammates, I love my teammates too much. I'm giving them cross keys week.
Seriously?
Best mode of the league, and I'm skipping it. So
I'm legitimately shocked, Flip.
I was wondering there because I know your team, obviously pretty well, and I knew that the battle for Cross Keys week on who got to represent the team was going to be a fierce one. So
I managed to void cross keys for all 4 seasons, or 3 seasons rather, of the league, and I would like to keep it that way. So I'm a big pull back and do the cross keys.
Me and Trinex are opposite. It's my favorite mode. The cross keys is worst mode, least favorite, and Waze doesn't really care as long as there's no randomizer. Waze is fine with it. So that's gonna be us. But it's gonna be a hard week, I think. Tile roomies, they're great at cross keys, so we're gonna do our best.
Yeah, well, best of luck to all of you guys on both teams here next week. Should be a very fun week because cross keys. I think I tend more to the Scary Olive and Flip Heel side of things. This is one of my favorite modes as well. But GG's guys, very well run race, very well piloted race tonight. And like I said, best of luck next week.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the restream, for the tracking, the commentary. This will be a fun one to watch back for sure. And GG's Flip.
Yeah, GG's again. Thanks to everybody as well. And I agree. Yeah, I'm sure the comms are going to be exciting to listen back to.
And thank you guys for putting on the show for us today. And big shout outs again to our tracker today, Mindful Beast, who clicked all the buttons behind the thing, kind of made it easier for everybody to follow. Without the trackers, we actually can't really do a whole lot on this side. So,
and this is certainly an action-packed week for tracking. To be clear, you've got items flying basically at as high a rate as possible. You've got key sanity. You've got every check is basically going to be something that you're tracking. So for to keep up with that is a no small task here. So very, very good job, Mindful Beast. Thank you for helping us out tonight.
And thank you as well to my co-commentator today, Will WC. Always fun to do this with you, bud.
Likewise.
I guess with that, we should probably send her off for the night then. So everybody, there's going to be a couple more cross keys, not cross keys. Sorry, I've already got next week on my brain here. No more matches tonight on this side of the the league here. The Open League, if I'm not mistaken here, has one. Or not. No, I guess they have one. Okay, nope, their race is over as well. So no more tonight, but tomorrow there's going to be a race at 9 p.m. between the Immortals and Shack Tool Sticking Game. That's going to be Duke Firebird versus OC 101. So that's going to be a race right there. Hopefully we'll find a channel for that.
And it looks like we do also have a couple of races scheduled. One at 1 o'clock on the Open League side between the Pixel Grinders and the Sword Beam Club, with Namefaker and CJ running for those two teams, and another one later in the evening at 11:30 Eastern between Where Are the Instructions and Acai, with Antisim and Tony T. Young running for those two teams.
And I'm just going to say I'm impressed that you were able to say that name. I guess with that, everybody,
as long as it's not German.
That's all that matters, right? All right. I guess with that, then we're just we're gonna say goodbye, I think, right? And everybody, thank you for being a part of this tonight, and I guess we'll catch you all next time.